Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to Terratech with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome to me literally just walking in the door, instantly turning on Terratech, because I have an idea for today. Now, sadly, I don't have much time. Similar to the last video, I wasn't really going to record today, but I really want to build something special. Our first proper combat vehicle. Now, the lovely Nimble Thimble here has been our light harvester and our light combat vehicle from the very start, and has done a very good job, honestly. It's not lost a single fight, it's been good enough for harvesting, there's been no problems with it. But now, I need to go out and start doing some of the other missions, eventually the Hawkeye missions, and it would be nice to be able to spawn in something, which I am confident won't instantly die to something too difficult, and I would like to do this before two different things happen. The first of which is getting the GeoCorp battery, the second of which is getting the Hawkeye license. I want to avoid using those two items and, of course, the GeoCorp repair bubble, the things I always rely on a bit too excessively. So basically, a almost completely GSO related vehicle which will only use the lighter armaments, because we don't have any of the really strong weapons yet. The strongest we have is the combat shotgun and the mortars, which honestly I don't really want to rely on too much. Instead, we're going to make a seriously heavy combat vehicle using the more basic weaponry and basic movement parts. Well, I say basic movement parts, we are going to be using the Muddy Dog wheels. They do seem to be really good with a decent amount of weight, even when we're using, well, using something quite silly. Now, one great thing with wheels with GSO is that they are all made of essentially the same thing. You need rubber and you need plumbia. Which means all of the wheels we have, including these really redundant ones, the lower end ones, we can just easily scrap and then make the larger wheels out of what we're scrapping. So very, very cheap and very, very efficient. Now, I still need to make the scrapping station, probably going to use a magnet or something, but just for now, we're just going to throw them in manually because I really want to get this sorted as soon as possible, and we don't have time to do the rest. Now, whilst that's still building away, I've just went ahead and removed all of the auto miners from around here. Now, there are two reasons for this. The first reason is the next time I use all of these crystals when they come back, I want to do it a little bit differently, either using more delivery cannons or building a system in which the refinery and the cannon is all within the miner itself. The only reason why I didn't do that last time is because of areas like this when they're very, very close to each other, and that would just end up with really awkward placements. But it would mean that the backing up of all the crystals when we come back would simply not be an issue at all. So, either way, I will do something different next time. So for now, we're lagging, but not quite as bad. Honestly, the main problem is the defense turrets. Something to do with their AI constantly searching for enemies is causing an issue. And now a short break for capitalism. Now a break for more long-term capitalism, storing our assets for later use. What I find funny is that it's easier to get very large amounts of the more expensive resources than some of the cheaper resources in this game, because the only way to get an actually near unlimited supply of plumbia is to purchase these blocks, which of course cost money, which means you're selling other types of blocks in order to get them. Whereas the more expensive stuff, you can simply set up the auto miners and then you can get thousands of them quite easily, honestly. It's just a bizarre thing, and it does make me tempted to set up a little scrapper right next to this, so I'm purchasing stuff which then instantly gets scrapped down into its parts and then turned into these. I am tempted, but I still want to stay away from unlimited purchases as much as possible. Now, that is not to say that I'm not going to do it for building. Like I said before, trying to get loads of these to build something would just take so long and be so boring. But when it comes to everything else, I am doing it fairly legitimately. The wheels I am getting from scrapping enemies, not from purchasing this, which then can be used to make the bigger wheels. All of the weapons are being made by harvesting resource. I just cannot be bothered to build the regular blocks. Some people have also asked me, why am I even bothering doing this? Because really, the easiest way now is just to get to the next level of the GSO rep, get the payload terminal, we have all the money in the world, we can easily get more, and we could purchase pretty much everything. And the reason is, at one point, the game's payload terminal wouldn't let you purchase an unlimited amount, and I found that quite interesting, so I'm kind of testing out what that's like. Plus, it's a different type of playstyle. Having to craft everything yourself makes you very aware of what things cost and just how you're going about things. We now have 32 of the wheels. I think that should be enough. Okay, then let's put down our first block, which of course will be the cab itself, and let's get building. So, the next thing we need, though, is the cannons. I am going to really, really spam the pound cannons. What do these cost? Let's find out. Okay, so the first one needs that, which we have loads of, and that we have loads of as well, so that's absolutely fantastic for a start. Then the other piece needed yellow and what now? Yellow and what? Now, thankfully, some of the other weapons do break down to yellow, so that's fine as well. Yellow and plumbier. Okay, yeah, we have loads of all of that. That'll be easy. I think... Actually, I don't know how many of these we're going to use, but we're going to use a lot. Also, we need a lot of batteries. So for now, Mr. Thimble, let's just get rid of that resource, and then I'll scrap you away for a second so I see how much I've got. And then let's get building the base of our new vehicle. So a little while later, and now we're testing out by building the base of the craft, and what I'm going with is going to be a little bit on the weird side, which I've kind of hinted already, honestly, because we're going to expand and then have a few more layers of wheels, which hopefully will make this incredibly difficult to stop and incredibly mobile. I'm also going to have some tracks along the bottom, most likely, because we do have access to the more basic tracks, or I could cut out some of the bottom and then simply add some of the regular wheels instead. Basically, I want this to look a little bit scrappy and as if it's using everything we have. That's kind of the concept in my head. I don't know how well it's going to translate into an actual tech, but I guess we're just going to have to find out. First, let's put these down. This will be the next set of wheels. Thankfully, this also leaves quite a bit of space to add shields and stuff, which will be nice and easy in a second. There we are. And same again on this side. I've decided for a mix, because A, I think it looks better, and B, it has actually turned out to be quite good on the smaller scale. Decent at turning on the spot, but very, very good at turning whilst moving, without causing any sliding or issues like that, which we were experiencing before on the Nimble Thimble. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, that's great. That is actually fantastic. Turning on the spot is good. Turning while moving is good. It feels really reliable. I may just add more wheels to the center then. Now, this, of course, is the very base of the craft. There is a lot more we're going to add, so don't worry. This is the prototype. A slight deviation to the original plan. Rather than going with what I was originally intending, we are going to go incredibly wide here in the center. This way, we will have loads of surface area for as many cannons as possible. In fact, we currently have 101 cannons, which we are ready to use, so we are going to have at least one more layer to this thing, and I think the front is going to be a little bit different. I was originally going to extend this a bit further, have a sort of cab design, but instead, this is going to feed into the side as well. As much surface area as possible. It will make us vulnerable, but hopefully it will give us the ability to just have such a shocking amount of damage, we should just win fights. That's the theory anyway. Plus, it's not really something I've designed for in the past, having it... Honestly, it could be wider than it is long. It's not going to win any awards for beauty, but... honestly, none of my builds do, and this is something interesting, at least it is to me, and hopefully it is to you too. I really wish these blocks were easier to craft, the half blocks, the armoured blocks, because they look awesome, but they are really, really, really expensive. And turning on the spot is now significantly better. Now I've made this thing wider, which makes complete sense, and apparently at some point I accidentally gave you a tail. There we are, the block has now been retrieved. I gave you a tail, then I ripped it off. That sounds really, really, really odd. Anyway, how am I going to do the weaponry then? So, I want to focus on pound cannons, obviously. So I think I'm going to do is have both of these go back and have a sort of triangle effect up to about here. Then in the center, we'll do something different, so at least the center seems more special than the outside. Yeah, that seems very reasonable to me indeed, and I am a reasonable fellow, or so I've been told. Okay, yeah, let's do like this. Ah, yeah, that'll look nice. Then if the triangle's going up with that, then it would look less obvious that I'm just... you know, placing blocks slightly behind it each time, which is the idea, still. But, you know, it will look interesting as previously stated. So we now create a smiley face. I mean, that's always a good thing, right? And to finish off the smiley face, all we'd need to do is attach these two sections of guns together, and that's that. But first, I have the problem of you there. So what I need to do is make sure you have a connection point going forwards, which is impossible to tell while I'm building like that. Thank you. Come on, there we go, like that. And then this one, I need to go up and like that. There we go. So I can start with the front armor piece, and I can still attach the weapon. Also, what am I even building in the background? I forgot. Oh yeah, more mortars. We can probably stop that now. We are running out of resources. So, I've also been thinking about if I'm allowed or not to scrap the regular blocks we can purchase from the shops. And I've came to the conclusion, yes. The reason is that the plumbier and such, I can't make any automation for, so I'm never going to have a faster rate of actually harvesting it from the wild. But, if I can make money from other means, I can always purchase it. So I'm essentially purchasing the plumbier and the tree resource, because this also creates the sap. No, wait, that's the wheel that creates the sap. This also creates the wooden blocks, so still any resources from the trees. I think that's okay, because I can't do the same for any of the other resources, because none of the other resources give me unlimited blocks, which I think's the whole point. So I think that's okay, purchasing at least the basics. Of course, eventually we could just purchase everything if we wanted to, but I think that's against the whole point of this playthrough. Now, the mortars, we could keep on going further back, or we could just go side to side here and have a full payload there, which probably will be better, honestly. Also need to figure out what to do with the sides here. Getting very, very close now to finishing, and, well, it's looking like this. Lots and lots of weapons at the front, a few weapons at the side, we're adding more armor now to the sides, and we are now making more shields and repair bubbles to completely cover the center here. Only using GSO blocks, I've actually found this incredibly difficult. It's not the most easy thing to do, and it just relies on just spamming a lot of the lower end weapons, at least until we get the Megaton cannons, the Big Bertha cannons and all that at level 5. But at least this means we have a nice scrappy bot built from everything we already have, which is very, very nice. I also can imagine this winning most fights, honestly, right now. It has a huge battery reserve of 60 GSO batteries. We will be adding more, because although that does sound like a lot, GSO batteries are so much weaker than the Geocorp ones, and things like the Nomad from the last season had 90 Geocorp. So, yeah, we still need more battery power, but we do have a lot in regards to the medium size of this craft. Well, medium to large. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but it should be able to fight and win pretty much everything. Now, I'm still not quite sure what I want to do with this center section. There's not all that much we can do. What I am tempted to do is perhaps front-facing some of these venture missiles. Now, of course, these should be faced upwards so that you can fire them and they then target the enemy, and this isn't GSO, and that's the two problems, but I do like the idea of firing them forwards, although apparently they do sort of collapse onto the floor there, so maybe not. Yeah, maybe that shouldn't be happening anyway. I still want to stick with only GSO. So what could I do then? Hello, GSO. We could add more mortars in the center. We could add shotguns along the front here and have 2 rows of shotguns. We could make some more lasers and then have this as a laser front section. That might actually, yeah, that might look better, because that way we could keep the wall type of style here, perhaps bring it out a little bit, and then it would at least be a different weapon in the center, and that would look interesting as well, having a row of just laser damage. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do, so we'll have lasers there. But first, we need to focus on making those shields, which means we need some more plumbier once again. Yeah, I am glad that I've decided that we can sell the regular blocks, because otherwise this would take even longer. Let's have a little bit of a field test, shall we? Whilst we're waiting, I've not been really doing anything but crafting for the last, well, honestly, I don't know how long. It's been just far too long. And now I want to kill things. That is glorious. Watching all of those shells home in on the target looks like a swarm of bees. Let's face it, who doesn't want a swarm of explosive bees at their commands? I'll tell you who. Normal people. Boring people. People you don't really want to socialize with. Those people. So, on the upside, it causes no lag. I was worried for a second because of all the repair bubbles and stuff that this thing was causing some lag, but now I'm far enough away from the base, that's definitely not the case. Also, I do have full power, well, full solar power on this craft, which is definitely handy. Loads of solar panels in the center here, so once all that's sorted, it does actually refuel fairly quickly, which is very, very nice indeed. Still need all of these sections finished. The back section needs to be done. But first, whoa, that's a smiley face. Kind of creepy, just kind of appeared there. Hello? Are you aggressive, or can we be friends? Oh god, look at that thing. Hello? Well then. Apparently it's a harvester. How you doing? You doing alright, are ya? That's nice. Oh, is he going to harvest that by falling onto it? Nope. Nope, he's just going to... Okay, well... I'm sorry. Well, at least we got loads of stuff from that. That was nice. Yeah, this is actually going to destroy a lot of stuff, isn't it? Because everything's explosive, I imagine this is going to be terrible for scrapping opponents. Aha! A fair and adequate test. Oh, a fearsome opponent indeed. Look at its lasers burning at me. I was going to try and keep it serious there, but no. But no, apparently not. That wasn't going to happen. Hello there, delivery crate. Could this be a trap? Well, could it be? No, it's not a trap. I wanted it to be a trap this time, guys. Ooh, flak cannon. Which can't be placed symmetrically. But it's a flak cannon. I love these things, even though they're still useless. Did I really just get decorations and a flak cannon from that and nothing else? Why are you sending this to... Okay, real talk for a second. This is a delivery crate, right? Why did they send to this world Christmas decorations and a flak cannon? They're gonna shoot down Santa. Well, we've just figured out GSO's overall plan. They exist solely to kill Santa. Oh. So, oh, Lord. Okay, bad. Convert. Let's anchor for a second. Let's try and get you away. Nope. Okay, you're still there. So, it turns out it just detonates upon you getting close to it. I built a little drill boss and everything, but no, it just explodes. Oh yeah, I have no weaponry on the back. That's something I didn't even consider. Although apparently our mortars really want to hit from the back anyway. So some of the weapons can almost do that, but at least now we know that we need weaponry at the back. You know you're never going to get through my shield, right? Just putting it out there, that's never going to happen. Even if apparently I didn't actually anchor in time anyway. I mean, you've got to admire him for trying so much, but... yeah. Turns out the ones at the top can fire backwards. But we definitely need some backwards weaponry because I'm lazy when it comes to fighting. Yay! We have got the Hawkeye upgrade. Fantastic. Okay, let's put down our... Did they actually destroy the black hole generator? Okay, now you're just annoying me, lads. That's what I get for trying to kill your friend humanely with a drill to the face. Honestly, you try and do someone a kindness. I can't believe I forgot to add butt lasers. Realistically, that is the most important thing you could possibly add to any tech. There we are. Now, if anything's directly behind us, we should be able to kill it. Also, yes, I did just damage some of the stuff I'm coming back to collect. Here, take that. Ah, there's a shotgun all the way up there because it's being annoying. Now, I do not think this will be able to climb up there because, honestly, it's just a terrible shape for something so wide to try and climb. But you know what? We're going to try anyway. Because failure is always entertaining when it's not you failing. At the end of the day, I'm an entertainer. There we go. Never mind. I didn't fail. You're all disappointed. So, apparently the base has made more lasers, so now we have more lasers on the front, which is lovely. I kind of didn't realise that when I was adding the butt lasers, but now we do indeed have butt lasers and butt cannons. So far, testing it seems fine. Doesn't seem exceptional, honestly, but it seems like it'll win most fights just because large amount of batteries, large amount of protection, and loads of weapons. So, whilst here and just messing around, I fixed a grand total of 6 pieces of asymmetry. This game really needs a mirror mode for people like me who miss the obvious. But seriously, please, Terratech developers, give me a mirror mode. I need it. The people on the internet get angry. Okay, there we are. Got thrusters on the side now, which I think looks better. Excellent. Then we have some excess of these, so we can put this in here, like on the other side. I was just waiting for the pieces for that. At least I was actually aware of that one. Then one there. One there. We'll continue with that. That actually was quite nice. Hard to tell with all the bubbles. Yeah, that's the other problem with using GSO. Such tiny little bubbles. You end up using loads of them to cover a very small area, and then, well, it looks like that, which isn't exactly the most pleasant. Now, let's put this armor here and here, because we can. I now have drills and a combat shotgun, just to make the front a little bit more varied. We have the underslung cannons, because cannons are cool. And anything else we need? We could add some of the smaller drills, just because, well, it fills the space without me having to make the more expensive and more difficult to make crafting stuff. That would look interesting, at least. Now, what it does need is some lights. That is something I'm very well aware of. Here would be good. So 2 little ones on the side. We can add one here, one here. No, that would cover a weapon. Still don't really know what to do with this section other than the sloping blocks, so I guess just wait for the sloping blocks and then that'll be all well and good. That makes this look like it has some kind of purpose, even if it is just holding down lights. It's a pretend purpose, admittedly, but I'm sure it doesn't mind too much. That is assuming that it is indeed sentient, which I do believe it is. Shall I fill this gap? Am I ever going to use that? No, so I'd say, yeah, fill the gap with 2 more of those. Put them on their sides so that line stays central without having separate lines. That'd be great. And then we're just waiting on more lasers, and I'm assuming it's run out of some kind of resource. Okay. Let's go do this. Band of robbers. We are finally putting our power to good use, protecting those who cannot protect themselves. Even though they do actually have weapons, but they're just standing there allowing themselves to be killed, essentially. But we are protecting them. Maybe they're pacifists. We're protecting those who don't want to protect themselves. You see, that just doesn't seem as good. Also, I am way too lazy to turn to fire at you. Could you just stand still, please? I want your gravestone to read Death by Butt Laser. And you are death by front laser. Nope, nope, death by cannons. I really should put down the SCU, shouldn't I? Because we're kind of destroying everything by firing at others. Did I leave the SCU behind again? Oh my god, I have the mind of a goldfish that's been hit round the head with a bigger goldfish. Guys, move. You. Be absorbed into the collective. Come on, let me absorb you into the collective. Thank you. How do I keep doing that, though? Anything of interest? What are you? You're just the anchored furnace. No, nothing of interest, really, but at least we proved this vehicle can do some serious damage to very small techs. Also, the drill bug's back, which is always great. Oh, our first Sergeant Smash mission. Ooh, should I do that or not? That will give us Hawkeye items, which I don't actually want all that much right now, because it'll make me too tempted to use them. But we do need them later, but I do have this as well. Let's go and do that. In fact, I'm going to cancel Craft Your Business for now. That stuff we'll do next time. Yeah, we'll do that in the future. We will do that in the future. For now, we'll just stick with the stuff we've already got. Finally, at least one large enemy to test out our cannons on. I really do feel like this tech will exceed on larger enemies in which we're kind of just entrenched with. Boxy, go away. Killing your friend first, okay? You were just consumed by fire. You're going to die of... Ooh, that looks really nice, having the cabs on the side. I was admiring you! Yeah, you have the higher ground. Come on. Give up your advantage. Come to me instead. Or just stare at me. It's like a waterfall. Okay, I just got bored. Hiya, how you doing? Hello! That's even your name, apparently. Yeah, trying to fire upwards with these shells is actually quite difficult. Thankfully, still won anyway, but well done to us. We did the win. And this time I didn't forget the SCU. Well done me. Anything ooh, nice expensive weapon there in the form of the missiles. We have a bubble projector, which is kind of rubbish because, well, the Venture ones kind of are. They're tiny little things, but still, pretty nice. So one thing I've noticed is we drain power really quickly in this thing, and I think it's because I've kind of overdone how many shield and repair bubbles we have. A lot of them overlap. I just didn't want any blind spots, but I think by doing that, we've got so many. Our passive energy draw is incredibly high. So that is a bit of a concern. Our battery power is not as high as it should be for this size as well. So I think what we need to focus on is just making way more batteries, covering this entire middle section with them, and then armoring it up. That way, if we can double how much battery power we have, I think that all of our problems are gone. I think we will still struggle with the smaller bots, but because we're so huge with so much battery power, that doesn't really matter. Eventually, one of the side weapons will kill the thing. So overall, I'm pretty happy, just not overwhelmed. But what did I expect with using all of the basic weaponry and basic armor and basicness? I should have expected something quite basic. Ooh, apparently there's something right there. Is that one of the race? Okay, here's a problem. Now, people have told me this, and yeah, I now agree. You shouldn't accept the trials from Venture near your main base, because those things are permanent, and they kind of deform the land sometimes. It's potentially quite the issue. Okay, so what I need then is more batteries. So ignoring what we're making currently, which I think are the lasers, which, to be fair, you can get, quite a lot of by just killing enemies. Probably quite a few scattered around here, honestly, since there are so many dead things. Lathrix is not a good driver. Okay, I would like these, please. What are you missing? Yeah, of course you are missing Plumbite, and we actually have a mission to do the Plumbite stuff, but for now, I'll just do the usual scrapping. So, after watching a few fights like that one, it seems like one issue with the pound cannons is their rather small area of effect, and if they all hit at the same time, only that tiny little area actually gets damaged. Now, that pretty much guarantees that any single block will be annihilated because, well, there's just so many hitting, but you don't do a lot of damage through the target, which means you essentially are just removing one layer at a time, despite having so many weapons. So what I think I need to do is actually stagger the weapons a little bit more. Having them get higher as they go back simply means that they are hitting at reasonably about the same time. Now, thankfully, there are also the mortars and stuff like that, but that is definitely a weakness of the weapon. Just a random observation there. And still, we do have the problem with the power draw. I have added more of the batteries, but I think I need to go in and remove some of the excess shields. One such area is here, because originally I was only going to have 2 layers, then instead I had 3, and well, as you can see, there are still repair bubbles and shields there, so I think the shields aren't necessary. Now, the repair bubbles I do want to leave in, because it is covering some of the center, but the shield bubbles I am going to remove because they're not on the outside. I'll keep the one at the front there for obvious reasons, and then we'll do the same on this side as well, just removing the shields. Yep, they're still an outer shield, so that's fine. There we are. And there we are. Don't quite know how that got there, so I'll remove that as well. And that should help a little bit with our power draw, because it is getting a little bit silly. I actually lose more power just going between fights than, you know, in fights. So like I was trying to say, how would I upgrade this craft now? Variety of weapons with the higher end weapons, moving over to Geocorp batteries and such, which I'm fine with. I just wanted to see what a GSO 1 would be like, and most importantly to me, changing the types of shield we're using and the types of repair bubbles, because my god, this is just not efficient. Look at how fast the battery levels are going down. Now, of course, I believe batteries were somewhat nerfed, not too long ago, not massively, but they were, but even so, that's just unsustainable. 1 or 2 battles and this thing is running out of power, which is just annoying, honestly, more than anything. It's not really hindering us too much, it's just irritating. Other than that, though, no major problems. It actually climbs decently, nothing really stops it. The damage output is very, very high, especially when the mortars start to hit, and its overall speed is okay, it's controllable. I would say it's a huge success, which could be improved by simply lifting the limitation of GSO only. But yeah, it's plenty strong though. So with that, I'm afraid I am all out of time for today's video. With the very limited time I had, I feel like I've achieved what I set out to do. We have a vehicle which is clearly quite good in combat. It's not very durable over the long run, but in a short fight or even against something of similar size, it does seem to just outright win with superior firepower and a decent amount of battery power. Although that's definitely one of its weaknesses, I think it's just about fine. Again, for the time we had. I will be massively retrofitting this in the future, so any suggestions you have, please feel free to tell me in the comments below. And with that, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, then of course, likes, favorites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that Terratech is a series you wish to see continued in the future. The normal upload schedule will most likely start again on Wednesday or Thursday, once all the other stuff is sorted out. There's a load of things basically happening at once. It's a little bit annoying, but at least most of it isn't particularly negative. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. I love cannons.